Imagine walking into the cereal aisle at the grocery store. Your goal is simple: pick a box of cereal. But as you stand there, you are confronted by a massive wall of options. There are colorful boxes, organic boxes, high-fiber boxes, and sugary boxes. One brand promises strong bones, another boasts about whole grains, and a third offers a free toy inside. You start reading every single ingredient list. You pull out your phone to compare prices per ounce. You check online reviews to see which flakes stay crunchy longest in milk. 30 minutes pass, your feet hurt, your head spins, and you still haven't picked a box. When you finally choose one out of sheer exhaustion, you drive home feeling stressed, wondering if the brand 3 shelves down would have been a better choice. What you just experienced is a modern mental trap. In our high-tech world, we are flooded with endless choices, not just about cereal, but about other food, our sleep habits, our exercise routines, and our daily schedules. We often believe that to be healthy and happy, we must find the absolute best option every single time. But what if searching for the perfect choice is actually making us sick and stressed? To understand how to protect our well-being, we have to look at the groundbreaking work of a brilliant scientist named Herbert Alexander Simon. His discoveries provide a powerful blueprint for how our brains make choices, and how learning to settle for good enough might be the ultimate secret to public health, mental peace, and overall lifelong wellness. The scientist who unlocked the mind. Meet Herbert Simon. Herbert Simon, 1916-2001, was not a medical doctor, but his work completely changed how we understand human health and behavior. He was a pioneer in psychology, computer science, and economics, even winning the prestigious Nobel Prize in Economics in 1978. Before Simon came along, many economists believed that humans acted like perfect, hyper-powerful computers. They assumed that when faced with a decision, a person would naturally list every single option available in the world, calculate all the possible future consequences of each option, and perfectly select the absolute best one. In science, this strategy is called optimizing or maximizing. Simon looked at real human beings and realized this idea was completely unrealistic. He pointed out that the world is incredibly complex, while the human brain has natural limitations. We have a finite amount of time, our memory can only hold so much information at once, and we cannot see too much into the future. Simon called this reality-bounded rationality. Our rationality, our ability to think logically and make smart choices, is bounded, meaning it is trapped inside the walls of our human limitations. Because our mental energy is limited, we cannot process an infinite number of choices. If we try to evaluate everything, our brains simply overload. 2 ways to deal with the world: maximizers versus satisficers. To describe how people handle choices within these boundaries, Simon identified 2 distinct styles of decision-making. 1. The maximizer, the perfection seeker. A maximizer is determined to find the absolute best result. If they are buying a pair of sneakers, they will visit 5 different stores, scroll through 20 websites, and read hundreds of customer reviews. They want the lowest price, the highest quality, and the coolest style. 2. The satisficer, the good enough finder. Simon invented a brand new word to describe the second type of person: satisficer. This word combines 2 everyday terms, satisfy and suffice, which means to be enough. A satisficer does not look for the absolute best. Instead, they start by setting a clear standard of what they need. If they need a pair of sneakers, they might say, "I need shoes that are comfortable, cost under $50, and are black." They start looking at options, and the moment they find a pair that meets those 3 requirements, they buy them and stop looking. They don't care if there is a slightly shinier pair down the street or a pair that is $2 cheaper online. They found what they needed, so they move on with their day. The mental cost of perfection. You might think that being a maximizer is better. Shouldn't we always strive for perfection? Modern psychology research has shown the exact opposite. People who constantly try to maximize are generally less happy, more stressed, and more prone to regret than satisficers. Because maximizers spend so much time worrying about the options they didn't choose, they rarely enjoy the option they did choose. They constantly second-guess themselves. Herbert Simon practiced exactly what he preached. He lived by the famous saying, "The best is the enemy of the good." He didn't want to waste his precious mental energy on small, everyday choices. His daughter later wrote that he simplified his life by establishing strict habits to eliminate little decisions entirely. He wore the exact same brand of socks his entire adult life. He owned only one beret at a time, replacing it only when it wore out. He ate the exact same breakfast every morning: oatmeal, half a grapefruit, and black coffee. By taking these small decisions off his plate, Simon saved his brain's computing power for the things that truly mattered to him: his family, his students, and his scientific research. Why bounded rationality matters for public health. You might be wondering, what does a Nobel Prize-winning theory about socks and breakfast have to do with public health? Public health is the science of protecting and improving the health of entire communities. It focuses on preventing people from getting sick or injured in the first place, rather than just treating them in a hospital later. To build a healthy community, we have to look at the 5 core pillars of physical and mental well-being: sleep, nutrition, exercise, willpower, and conviction. When we look closely at these pillars, we see that modern life forces us to make hundreds of health choices every day. If we try to be maximizers in every single one of these areas, we run face first into a massive public health crisis known as decision fatigue. Understanding decision fatigue. Every time you make a choice, whether it's deciding what to eat, whether to hit the snooze button, or which homework assignment to do first, your brain burns a little bit of its limited fuel. This fuel is your mental bandwidth, or willpower. When you spend hours obsessing over small choices, your brain's fuel tank hits empty. This state of mental exhaustion is called decision fatigue. When your brain is fatigued, your willpower crumbles. You become irritable, your stress hormones spike, and your ability to make healthy choices completely collapses. Let's look at how applying Herbert Simon's good enough blueprint to the pillars of health can protect your mental bandwidth, lower your stress, and keep your body thriving. Applying the good enough blueprint to the 5 pillars of health. 1. Nutrition. Escaping the supermarket trap. Nowhere is bounded rationality more obvious than in how we eat. Grocery stores are packed with thousands of items, each covered in marketing labels like organic, all natural, cage-free, or low-fat. A nutritional maximizer will spend hours trying to design the absolute perfect diet. They worry about tracking every single calorie, balancing every micronutrient, and buying only the most expensive superfoods. This perfectionism turns eating into a source of severe anxiety. Eventually, the mental stress becomes too much to handle, the person suffers from decision fatigue, and they give up entirely, driving through a fast food restaurant out of pure exhaustion. The satisficer approach: instead of chasing a perfect diet, set a good enough standard based on basic science. Your rule could be, my meals must include a source of lean protein, a portion of vegetables, and a whole grain. If a meal meets that standard, it is a success. By simplifying your nutrition rules, you eat healthily without draining your mental battery. 2. Sleep. Ending the nighttime battle. Sleep is the absolute foundation of your health. It is when your brain cleans out waste products, repairs tissues, and solidifies your memories from the day. Yet, many people struggle to get enough rest because they treat their bedtime like a math problem to be optimized. They stay up late trying to finish one more video, or they obsessively track their sleep cycles using smartwatches, getting anxious if their data isn't flawless. The Satisficer approach: establish a simple, non-negotiable routine to take the thinking out of bedtime. Set a rule: I will turn off screens at 9:30 p.m. and lie in bed by 10 p.m. Don't overthink it, and don't look at your phone to check the exact minute you fall asleep. A reliable, good enough sleep schedule is infinitely better for your body than an irregular one that you constantly stress over. 3. Exercise. Moving your body without the guilt. Exercise keeps your heart strong, builds your muscles, and releases chemicals in your brain called endorphins that make you feel happy. Unfortunately, many teenagers and adults think that if they can't go to a fancy gym for an intense, 2-hour workout, it isn't worth exercising at all. This all or nothing, maximizing mindset causes people to stay parked on the couch. The Satisficer approach: the human body doesn't need a perfect workout, it just needs movement. A satisfying rule for exercise can be as simple as, I will move my body for 20 minutes today. That could mean a brisk walk outside with a friend, playing basketball in the driveway, or doing a quick yoga routine in your room. A 20-minute walk that actually happens is a million times better for your health than a perfect 2-hour workout that you never start. 4. Willpower. Preserving your brain's fuel tank. Willpower is like a muscle, it gets tired if you overuse it. If you spend your morning agonizing over what outfit to wear, what playlist to listen to, or which snack to pack, you are wasting your willpower on things that don't matter. By the time you get to school or work, your brain is already tired, making it much harder to focus on your classes or resist peer pressure. The Satisficer approach: copy Herbert Simon and automate the small stuff. Design a basic uniform for school so you don't have to think about your clothes. Pack your lunch the night before. By turning minor, repetitive choices into automatic habits, you preserve your willpower for big, creative tasks and important life decisions. 5. Conviction. Finding peace in your choices. Conviction means having strong beliefs and standing by them. In a world with endless options, maximizers are constantly suffering from FOMO, the fear of missing out. They make a choice but keep looking over their shoulder, wondering if another path would have been more fun or more successful. This constant doubt causes chronic emotional stress, which damages your immune system and raises blood pressure over time. The satisficer approach. Once you make a choice that meets your good enough standard, lock it in and don't look back. Whether it's choosing a topic for a school project, picking a sport to play, or deciding how to spend your weekend, commit to your choice. Be present in that moment. True fulfillment doesn't come from finding a flawless option, it comes from embracing the choice you made and putting down roots. Conclusion. Take back your brain power. We live in an era where technology makes it easier than ever to compare everything. We can look at 1,000 different options in the palm of our hand before we buy a single item or take a single step. But as Herbert Simon proved, our brains are not built to carry the weight of the entire world's choices. By demanding perfection in everything we do, we push ourselves into a state of chronic stress and decision fatigue, dragging our health down the wrong path. The next time you find yourself feeling overwhelmed by choices, take a deep breath and think of Herbert Simon. Remember his simple brand of socks, his single beret, and his bowl of oatmeal. Remind yourself that you don't need a flawless life to be healthy and happy. Set your standards, find an option that is good enough, commit to it with conviction, and save your valuable brain power for the things that truly bring joy, meaning, and love into your world.